Hello YouTube, Shin Tiger Curl here, that dude the straw hat, bringing you the next part of my countdown to Pirate Warriors 3 Let's Play. Last time we took a look at the man who inspired Luffy to become a pirate, red-haired Shanks, and now we take a look at the man, the myth, the legend, Whitebeard. Of course, as always, all the information provided here comes straight from the One Piece Wiki, so if you want to learn more about these characters, just head over to One Piece Wiki for all your informational needs, or do like me and read the manga or watch the anime. Trust me, it's worth it. So let's begin. Edward Newgate, more commonly known as Whitebeard, was the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates and was known as the strongest man in the world after Gold Roger's death. He was a member of the 4 emperors that ruled over the New World until his death at the Battle of Marine Ford. Personality. Edward Newgate seemed to have been a cheerful and carefree person during his younger days prior to commanding his own ship and becoming known as Whitebeard. Unlike his comrades who loved treasure and riches, he only desired a family and saw that as the greatest treasure. His reign on the sea, reputation, and foreboding power made him seemingly overconfident and fearless. In his initial appearances, he seemed unable to see any cause for alarm on any decision he made and refused advice given to him, such as his nurse telling him not to drink so heavily, or Shanks warning him about Blackbeard. However, he was much more thoughtful than he initially appeared. Actions that seemed to be the result of thoughtlessness, headstrong bravado, actually had strong reasons behind them. His loud declaration that Fishman Island belonged to him freed the island from all pirates and slavery, and his insistence that Blackbeard be punished was merely a cover for Ace, who set out after him against Whitebeard's wishes. Though he may have seemed to have an overgrown ego, deep down he knew that he was nothing but a single man and was fully aware of his own mortality. He knew the youth were the key to the future, and that their lives were far more important than his own. He also seemed to enjoy talking about the past. The first thing he talked about with Shanks when Shanks visited were old memories from the past 22 years, and when he saw Buggy during the Paramount War, he recalled some memories of the past. People that were children at the time are still children in his eyes, even men as powerful as his fellow emperor Shanks and Admiral Aokiji. One way to appease him involves bringing and sharing with him a drink, preferably high quality and very expensive, while striking up a conversation, as seen with his encounters with Shanks, Rogers, and Shiki. However, this does not guarantee complete cooperation, judging from the nature of these conversations. Whitebeard believed that it is fine when a man decides what to make of his life if he doesn't live to regret it. After being stabbed by Squard, Whitebeard remained forgiving and understanding towards his ally. A distinguishing feature of Whitebeard's nature was his high moral standards. He would never forgive the death of a crewmate and believed that a man cannot live without some form of moral code. The ultimate proof of his unwavering sense of right and wrong came when he declared war on the world government solely to save Ace's life. Another example is taking on Blackbeard in order to avenge Thatch, despite being close to death at the time. However, he was willing to go against his moral code under certain circumstances, such as when he instructed Ace to let Blackbeard go because he had an uneasy feeling about him. Like Gold Roger, Whitebeard believed that a child should not be held responsible for the sins of the parent, and that he told Squard that Ace would not be held responsible for Rogers killing Squard's original crew. Like a lot of One Piece characters, he has a unique laugh, which is like Perona. His laugh is similar in the name to his devil fruit, the Tremor fruit, or Gurur no Mi. However, in the anime, before the Marine Ford arc and Gigante battle, his laugh was changed to a regular ha ha ha. In the American Shonen Jump, his laugh was changed to goo ha ha ha. Powers and abilities. Whitebeard was given the title of the strongest man in the world for his unmatched physical strength, and was one of only men in the world who could match the late pirate king Gold D. Roger in a fight. The others known to have matched him were Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp, said to have cornered Rogers on numerous occasions. He was one of the four emperors, four of the most feared pirates in the world that ruled the second half of the Grand Line, along with Shanks, Kaido, and Charlotte Linlin. They were considered the biggest pirate threats to the world government. Whitebeard's reputation alone made his simple declaration of Fishman Island being his territory enough to keep slave traders and pirates from attacking it further, making Whitebeard himself a far more effective than a treaty signed with the world government 200 years before his death. Whitebeard was the captain of the Whitebeard pirates, directly controlling an enormous pirate fleet of 1,600 individual pirates divided up into 16 divisions, each one led by an incredibly powerful division commander. A testament to his power is the fact that the warlords and the world government used virtually all of their power prepared to fight him. Whitebeard's powers are so vast that few would dare to challenge him or any of his crew, making Ace, Crocodile, Aokiji, Kizaru, Akainu, Blackbeard, Kaido, and Luffy a few of the very brave and powerful people that could challenge him. In the past, Ace tried to attack Whitebeard over 100 times, each attempt resulting in subsequent failure and injury. Whitebeard's retaliation was so effortless that he was able to counterattack even while sleeping. After Akainu killed Ace, Whitebeard brutally injured him, with the Admiral being practically helpless in response to Whitebeard's power, temporarily defeating him in a relatively short battle with merely 2 attacks. Another example of his power is his fight with Shanks. When their weapons clashed, the heavens split in 2. Whitebeard blocked a 2-handed downward swing from the giant Vice Admiral John Giant with one hand on his Basinto, extinguishing the flames of one of Akainu's molten rocks with just a single breath, and prevented a massive paddle ship from advancing using only one hand. He could jump great heights to attack larger opponents such as Giant John. Besides his formidable power, Whitebeard was also an incredibly skilled military strategist and a match for Sengoku the Buddha. His tactical prowess was demonstrated when he scattered the pirates at Marineford so they would not be routed by the pacifista, and while he bypassed the siege wall. Physical abilities. During the Marineford War, Whitebeard was had completely overpowered vast numbers of Marines, officers, and giants, such as Vice Admiral Rosne with only one hand and his devil fruit abilities. He could move at considerable speeds, having snuck up on Akainu with only the latter realizing that it was only that once his soldiers yelled at him to watch out. The very fact that he launched a surprise attack on the Admiral, one with very acute hearing, also demonstrates that Whitebeard could be impressively stealthy despite his gigantic size. Whitebeard appeared to have some health problems, probably stemming from his advanced age and severe drinking. When not in battle, he is almost always surrounded by nurses, uses oxygen tubes, and was hooked up to various intravenous tubes and life support systems. Despite this, he used to literally drink sake by the barrel. However, Marco noted that Whitebeard's health has gotten worse, and he no longer possesses the reflexes to avoid Squarto's attack, which was, in the past, something he could easily achieve. Even with his health issues, Whitebeard was still considered the world's most dangerous and powerful pirate, which raises the question of how powerful he must have been in his prime. His physical resistance and pain tolerance were amazing. He was able to keep fighting despite the number of life-threatening injuries he sustained, which included part of his head being literally burned off. This also proves that Whitebeard possessed incredible amounts of stamina and endurance. No matter how much damage he took throughout battle, Whitebeard continued to press forward and fight, only stopping once. Almost all the Blackbeard pirates collectively shot and stabbed him to death at point-blank range. It was shown that even in his old age, in a heavily wounded state and without access to his devil fruit powers, he could near effortlessly take down a warlord-level opponent, as demonstrated in his fight against Blackbeard. In total, he sustained, at the end of the Marineford War, at the time of his death, he sustained a total amount of injuries, including 167 sword wounds, 152 gunshot wounds, and 47 cannonball wounds, and had half of his head blasted off, resulting in a total of 465 injuries in all. In addition, Whitebeard was on the receiving end of one of Kizaru's laser beams and two of Akainu's magma blasts. However, even after taking so much damage in his already weakened state, he died standing up, an impressive feat when compared to other characters. Devil Fruit. Whitebeard ate the Gura Gura no Mi, or Tremor Tremor fruit, a Paramecia-class devil fruit that made him a Quake Man, and which was considerably the strongest fruit within the Paramecia class. According to Sengoku, Whitebeard had the power to destroy the world. With the power of this devil fruit, Whitebeard could create powerful shock waves that by shattering the air like glass. These shock waves then would be redirected into the ground, resulting in earthquakes, and if under the seafloor, tsunamis. He could create these shock waves in air, rendering airborne attacks ineffective. He could also use these shock waves to attack enemies with either widespread or specific targets. Whitebeard's power also allowed him to create a quake bubble with his hand, or his bicento, to increase the power of his physical attacks, as well as manipulate the air with his hands to tilt the environment around him. He also used the bicento to slash the air, which caused a massive eruption and a collapse of a tower in Marine Ford. Whitebeard could also use these shock waves to block physical attacks, as well as non-physical attacks, making his devil fruit excellent as both an offensive and defensive weapon. As soon as after Whitebeard's death, the power of this fruit was extracted by Blackbeard through unknown means. Weapon. Whitebeard fought with a very heavy polearm called a bicento, a more massive version of the Japanese naginata, and was immensely skilled at it. The weapon's size is massive, fitting that of its owner, with a striped pole, with the stripes being all plain brown in the anime and red and yellow in the English in the manga, ending in a spherical edge with a large curved blade attached with the pole with a gold part, decorated by what looks to be a sea snake, with a thin part that protruded from the blade itself. With Whitebeard's immense strength and skill, the bicento was strong enough to clash with Shanks' saber, which caused the clouds and even the heavens to split. Whitebeard usually employed the bicento with both hands, but could use it proficiently with just one. Most of the time he kept it in his right hand, though he occasionally planted the blade in the ground in order to use both hands for his devil fruit. The bicento could be used in conjunction with his devil fruit and Bushushoku Haki to increase the already great damage it could already inflict, as well as neutralize any potential devil fruit defense his opponents might employ. The bicento is extremely durable, having stopped Akainu's magma attack without melting or receiving any visible damage, though this may have resulted in Whitebeard coating it with Bushushoku Haki. It sustained a two-handed downward swing from the giant Vice Admiral John Giant as well. After Whitebeard's death, it became a marker for his burial site, with his coat, a bouquet of flowers, and the crew's flag hanging from it. Haki. Whitebeard is one of the few people in the world to have mastered all three kinds of Haki. With his Kinbushoku Haki, Whitebeard foresaw all of Ace's attempts to kill him, even while asleep, retaliating in each attack and launching the young pirate away at a great distance, causing damage to the ship while doing so. In the Bay of Marine Ford, he predicted Crocodile's sudden attack, but didn't move, knowing that Luffy would block it. However, due to his age and worsening health, he failed to predict Squartle's betrayal and thus got injured, something which, according to Marco, was totally unexpected from the Emperor. His control over Bushushoku Haki was such that he could, in most cases, negate the intangibility of Logia-based devil fruits. In the past, he was able to defeat Crocodile, though it's unknown if the former warlord had even eaten a devil fruit, and to beat Ace more than 100 times. The split in the heavens provoked by the clash between Ace and himself during their meeting was the result of the amazing Bushushoku Haki imbued in their weapons. During the Paramount War, Whitebeard successfully landed blows on Akainu, where Marco and Vista failed to do so with their own attempts. He also possessed Haoshoku Haki, though he was never seen using it. During the Paramount War, he was on the verge of using it when some of the world government's executioners to protect Ace, but it failed because of his illness. And that was Whitebeard. 15 minutes. Slightly longer than Shanks's, but yeah, just to let you know my overall opinions of him, Whitebeard is a badass. Seriously, go read up on him. Dude, I do not do this guy justice. He is a badass. But anyway, that's his profile. Tune in next time as we look at one of the newest members of the Four Emperors, a former member of the Seven Rulers of the Sea, and the man responsible for changing the world itself, Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard. So, if you like what you've heard, link, comment, subscribe below. If you got any questions, comments, or just want to talk One Piece, leave them below. I'll get back to you. You want to support the channel? Just give a nice earthquake punch to that like button, or click on one of the advertisements spread around this video. Or if you want to donate directly, tip jars up there. You know what to do. So until next time, this has been Shin Tiger Curl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good day. And no matter what your position is, we are all children of the sea.